Too kind. If I had known that commercial would get this kind of response, I would have been much more optimistic about my career. I don't remember the similar enthusiasm at the time. The director almost fired me, and now I can see why.
What do you remember from filming that commercial other than you just gave a tidbit? You were almost fired?
Yes, I do remember that. I remember a couple of things. One, they asked me, I was 16 or just maybe turned 17. And I remember the guy with the car guy, you know, because it was a car in the commercial and I had to drive, and they're always worried about actors driving. And I remember he asked me, to this day, him and some Teamsters, and they were standing around. He goes, "Do you know how to drive, kid?" It was in New York. And I was like, yeah, I know how to drive. Are you sure? And I was like, guys, I've driven like 500 or 1,000 miles. Lifetime. Have you? Oh, I guess we're all set. And I also remember being like, I don't know why this director keeps making me do it over and over again. And now looking at the performance, I have a better idea.
Director to director. And I love your directing so much, Ben Affleck. I saw Air. This is the 5th film you've directed. Did you shoot on film or digital? I was trying to find the answer.
We shot Super 8 and 16 millimeter film. And we also shot the old video cameras, like the 3-tube video cameras where when you would move, you know, the little lights would streak, sort of like the highlights, you know, and because I felt like part of convincing people that you're in a different period of time is like we connect those things to the way we experience life then, and that was the media that we were looking at stuff on. So I did both, and then I took the digital and Bob Richardson and I did a lot to put a lot of glass in front of it and did a lot of things, including making Matt look a little more squat and wide, which he was happy about, and to sort of make it look different and to make it feel more 80s, because people, if they look back on it fondly, they kind of associate that with your movie.
And that opening montage.
That was all Super 8 and 16, yeah.
The references of our lives, you guys, when you watch this, first of all, if you didn't live through it, you will understand, like, what the gadgetry was like, what the technology is like, what the food and the soda cans and the Walkmans and, you know, I heard you did
I was like watching you in the movies at that time. Okay, that's what was going on. I almost should put you in the opening montage. You were, woman of dreams. That was it.
You're right, but the choices you made as a filmmaker, like I'll tackle another one, which was I've heard you out there saying you didn't want to have Michael Jordan or an actor play him so smart. Everyone's going to look at that and just be like, that's not Jordan. So those choices are so brilliant.
Like, I don't believe it would be possible to get an audience to believe that anyone other than Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. And so to see his face and try to sell, there he is, it would not only lose the audience, but then they wouldn't believe. They'd be like, oh, this is all false. This is all a lie.
Yes.
And so much of the work that you're trying to do is create realism.
But that's
and
confidence.
Also, it's really his mom's story. It's not his story. So, in fact, talking to him, he was like, my mom did this. My mom took me to Oregon. I wanted to play Nintendo. I was like, what? And he said, that thing about would have given his said he would have, sold the rights for a red Mercedes. So it's not that he was driving that aspect of it. He's brilliant. He's the greatest, competitive athlete ever. But without his mom, I don't think things would have worked as they did, which is why part of the movie really is a kind of a love letter to moms and an homage to that women who do a lot of that work often and without reward or approval or approbation or tension. And I hope this was a kind of a gesture to say, this guy would not have been this guy. And I think many, many men and women would not be who they were without the sort of unfailing support of in particular, their moms.
But then there's a montage. I don't want to give anything away, but you do tap into what his future will hold. And you don't shy away from just showing the victories. You show the difficult things he goes through, the painful. Why did you choose to include that?
Well, because that's part of it. And if you're the greatest in the world, you're like by definition alone. And I didn't expect people to go, oh, we're going to feel sorry for Michael Jordan because, that doesn't work. And I believe, like, when you look at Michael and his career and the degree to which he just seems to be consumed with a need to be great and to win and be the best, I think that's a lot to carry around probably all day.
Do we have a clip? Let's take a quick look.
You got a name for it?
For what?
The Michael Jordan line. You want to make him this offer you're talking about? Damn well better have a Michael Jordan line.
Yeah, well, it was a thought that Pete actually thinks we should call it Air Jordan.
I don't know.
It's so brilliant. Okay, sorry, pivot. How do you direct a scene like Argo? That's the edge of your seat scene. I've seen it 50 times. And you're just like, oh my
You
God.
have that haircut.
I know, the plane.
You know, what I've found is that you get, it's hard because you go like, well, geez, everybody knows what's going to happen, right? So that you think, well, this makes my job difficult. But actually, the truth is you get a lot of tailwind because people already know what happened and they kind of enjoy being in on it. Like, it's not about the outcome. The audiences I don't think, watch movies to see the plot resolve.
I agree.
Most of you know what the resolution is going to be if you think about it. It's really that if you connect to the characters emotionally and you believe in them and you identify with them, you want to see them reach a resolution because it makes you feel better.
And that is why you are Ben Affleck.